Hello there, and welcome to the first episode of my gameplay series of Book of Hours. This game is something I've been looking forward to since I've heard of it, and I'm so happy that it's finally there. If you liked Cultist Simulator, it's from the same developers, and it clearly feels like the unofficial sequel to this game. So if you like that one, you can dive yet again into this wondrous and enigmatic world that I enjoyed already in the game before. So that all comes though with some warnings. This series will be quite spoiler heavy. The game lives off of discovery and the question how things work together, and I explain a lot during my gameplay. That's just the way I do things. So if you ever feel like I'm taking away too much of the mystery, I'll say it's time to get yourself your own library and get your own discovery thing going. That being said, my goal here is for this series also to narrate this game a little bit because it has really amazing writing, and yeah, I hope you like the mixture of things that I bring up here. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. A thumbs up would be wildly appreciated as well. So we will get ourselves into a new game, and here is a library that we will be inheriting. But at the beginning now, well, there has been no librarian at Hush House since the fire, 7 years now. We're writing this on the March of the 7th in the year 1936. This game is playing in a alternative timeline of our known world, so it's urban fantasy in a classical way, how we know it from authors like Lovecraft and the like. So, suitable candidates are very difficult to find, but perhaps we have found one in you. Take care on your journey. The seas around BRANCRUG are treacherous. So, that's my inventory here. That's all the possessions that I got, and as you might have noticed, I don't have anything. I get a thing here. That's an interaction window. The cold comes first. Thunder growling, waves pounding. And here is our first interaction sequence. So, waves pounding, and finally me, sprawled on the sodden sand of the beach. There's something in my hand. So, I'm going to go and ignore these many icons here for now. What's interesting here is what we've got. We got ourselves our health. We have it now in our inventory. We have a memory of the storm, and we own a drowned book. So we collect all these, and as you see, things get sorted where they belong. This is something we need to take care of, because shivers wreck my soaked body. Your health is failing. Find somewhere to warm up. So I'm going to explain lengthily what all these things down here will trying to tell you, but for now we can't safely ignore it. What's important is that we find ourselves a way to get ourselves from that beach. As you see here, St. Brandon's Cove doesn't have too many interactable points, except for this lock. So, BRANCRUG Village, Sanctuary in the Storm. I'll need help to climb those cliffs in the dark, and the locals are suspicious of outsiders, more than ever so since the Restoration and the New King. So, I don't know about the Restoration or the New King, but I know that here we have a first challenge. So, we need to get ourselves something that has this icon of assistance, and it needs to have this icon of sky as well. So we can check our things here. We have storm, but that doesn't fit in here because it's not an assistance card, and this one is not an assistance card either. So we can now take our drowned book and try around what we can do here. So perhaps this book can help me put the pieces together. So here we have another box, and if you click those with the left mouse key, you can see that there are different things that we can drag and drop on over there. So we remember now the storm. There was a storm. It smashed the ship like an egg. But I seized this book as the sea seized me. Then the sea brought me here to BRANCRUG. So now we know that we are shipwrecked, and obviously this thing here is our last bit of possession. So let's see what the interaction between the memory and the book will do to it. So time meter runs through. So And BRANCRUG is where I wanted to be, but it's hard to remember why. What else did I lose in the storm? So we get ourselves now new cards. So Fet, Shapt, and Core, or Chore, I don't know. These are parts of the human soul, basically, or skills that we will work with. So we don't really have any next clue now how to go through this. And this is where this game is showing its teeth, so to say. So now it's up to us to find out what we can do next. So you press the eye, and now if we left click that, we can now see what's interactable. So since there's no start interaction here, I guess we should try and get ourselves or another look at the book here. So here we get to select what kind of personality trait we will remember. This is also a point where you can choose in which direction your career as a librarian will go. These are 3 basic stats. So we're going to go for Shapt in this one. Fet was the one that I went for with my first playthrough off camera, and I really want to go another path. So eloquence and understanding. The door opens both ways. So here. The human soul has 9 parts. Eloquence and understanding rise from the part of the soul we call Shapt. Is my Shapt strong? So if we take this, we select this skill. If you're playing this on yourself, you can now select different parts, but you can only select one of those 3. So we're going to go this way, and let's quicken up the time a little bit. So, this is the coast where BRANCRUG Isle lies. My sources briefed me thoroughly about the place, and I know there's no way I can cross the isle and these seas. I'll need to find shelter for the night. So, we have regained some of our memories, and we also regained a part of our personality. We can use that now on other interaction fields. That will be handy later. So, things we also found are other parts of our personality. And as you see here, the game continues now this way. We can now select our second thing. So we got metal, the capacity for meaningful choice. Whist, name, memory, that part which remains. As you see, these are all really cryptic. And I'm going to go here. Well, let's see what I'm going for. We're kind of an eloquent person. So what would be a good point here? So, pride, compassion, hatred, and fear. That would be fitting for a talkative person, but I think we're going to go for metal, the capacity for meaningful choice. That sounds good, isn't it? Metal is the soul's tempering, will, self-discipline, that part of us which makes the right choice. So, I see myself as somebody who can talk and know what kind of decisions to make. I really like that one. So, perhaps here I can atone for all that I've done. But what was that exactly? First things first. I remember there's someone in the village who will give me sanctuary, if I can get there. So, we now have also mysteries in our journal. So, that will be interesting as well, but one thing at a time. We have now metal, so we have also regained a part of our personality, and most importantly, we have the address of an old friend back in our mind. Denzel, the blacksmith of BRANCRUG village. I remember him from the war. If he remembers me, I can find shelter beneath his roof once I've reached BRANCRUG village. So let's see if we can breach that lock with any of those cards that we got. So obviously not. Still no assistance card, but here we have something new. BRANCRUG village must be nearby, but it's hard going, dragging my soaked body across the soaked sand in the teeth of this wind. Which way? So we have regained a new memory, fear. So memories, well, they only last a day, and they can be used for various things. So let's see, what can we do here? I can use Shapt on the things here. Yeah, cry for help. That sounds quite decently. And if you ever get lost in this game, it really helps to just try and click what could fit into the boxes. I should try this book out before I'm trying to read it. Since we are right now in the middle of the weather and at the beach, I don't think this will work. So Let's let loose a cry for help. Perhaps there's someone out there even in this weather. I can fill my lungs and bellow for help. That also means I don't need to crawl any further. So let's see what that'll bring us. At last I see the light of a hurricane lamp bobbing in the dark. As it approaches, a face glimmers above the lamp. And here finally we have the fisherman. A fisherman from BRANCRUG village. He can guide me up the cliff path if he trusts me. So he has the sky icon we were looking for and the assistance icon we were looking for. So this is the fisherman we need. So we can't put him into this box, can we? Or can we not? The thing here is, it doesn't work because he still has the skeptical icon. As you see here, it's not allowed. So we need to get rid of his skepticism on him. So we're going to talk with him. And since we already know that we know somebody here, we can answer his "come no closer, what's thy business?" with the address of an old friend. Be someone else, speak free. Well, we have since 1930 and the Restoration, the locals have grown ever more suspicious of foreigners, but there's someone in BRANCRUG I know. So we get a little bit of a foreshadowing or backshadowing, I don't know how to call this, but this Restoration seems to make the people suspicious. The wonderful thing about this game is most of these, if not all of these things, you get hinted at. You will find explanations for them if you look closely enough. Alright, so we will tell him who we know, and I'll take thee by the cliffs then. So, the gentleman is no longer skeptical. Wonderful. So, I think he will now finally fit into the box. Here we go. And that unlocks the first part of BRANCRUG Village. Welcome. So, as you see here, we have now access to a few houses. And if we get even further away, this will be the rest of the map that we need to uncover over the course of the time. So when we're new here, we need to find out where this Denzel is at. The blacksmith of BRANCRUG. So let's see, the smithy is locked. I think we're here at the right spot. Denzel looms in the fire-bright doorway. So let's see. Ah yeah, we need to fit our half-drowned health into there. So Denzel looms in the fire-bright doorway. You? Here? How? And that's how the story will start for us. Denzel only has the one bed, but he can offer me a straw mattress in the smithy. It's smoky, but the warmth is very welcome. So you would actually get a different friend to begin with if you've chosen different stats here at the beginning. That's a very interesting part, because we're taking the thing here from a different angle than I did when I played for the first time. Denzel pauses at the door as I wish him good night. Son'll be back, he observes. Always do. Used to say that in the war, didn't we? The words linger as he clumps up the passage. The lamp flame flickers red, gold, red. So we have gained a new memory, the one of revelation, and we've regained our health. So by now we have a bit more of ourselves together. So let's see what we can do now. So we have here lots of different buildings, but they're all locked. Nobody wants to talk with us because we will need, let's see, here. It all requires an introduction. Whoever we want to talk with, we need an introduction because, you know, people are not too sociable towards strangers. But we know that Denzel is with us, so here I want to talk a little bit about how these things work. So for one, there's these icons here, and every one of our stats and pretty much everything in this game has similar aspects. So as you see here, edge, the forge, and hard. And as you see here, my stead here has edge and forge as stats on it. That means metal interacts with this place because these are the aspects of this place. So you always need to bring skills, memories, or soul fragments of yourself, that's these thingies here, that resonate with the place or interact with the place. That's the basics of it. I don't want to explain it too thoroughly here because we will have plenty of opportunity in the future. For now, it's enough to put our metal into the smithy and I'm always welcome at Denzel's smithy. Denzel will offer help for free as a friend. So we're going to do this, and usually we would have to pay him for the service, but as an old friend, we get his assistance here. So as you see here, Denzel has these stats here as well, and these are kind of like his talents. He's good at edge. All conquest occurs at the edge. One who dwells there is blind and cannot be wounded. Another is strong and grows stronger. Doesn't make any sense? Yes, well, it'll make sense in a while. What's important is the thing in behind the brackets. Edge is the principle of battle and struggle. So everything that can be resolved by just killing it or attacking it, basically, if it has an edge aspect, it can do the job. Forge is way easier to understand. The principle of the forge transforms and destroys. So if there's repair works or just something that needs to be destroyed, the aspects of the forge can help. I'll leave it like this for now because, like I said, more of that when the time is right for that. So Denzel can now introduce us to anybody who he can interact with. So let's see, Mr. and Mrs. Kill. Mrs. Kill, the midwife, is tall and gloomy. Mr. Kill, the undertaker, is slight and wry. In these troubled times, both are wary of strangers. So we would need an introduction here, and we would need somebody who has one of these traits. One would be sufficient, but our friend Denzel here has none of these, so he's not capable of introducing us to Mr. and Mrs. Kill. Let's see over to the rectory. Reverend Timothy is a hospitable soul, but Terence's housekeeper guards her employer fiercely. She doesn't want his innocent theological enthusiasms getting him in trouble with the new king's men. So let's see. Here, this one would require knock, lantern, or sky. Again, Denzel is not quite the person to provide these. So let's see, the Sweet Bones, that's our local inn. After the restoration of 1930, the new king's agents came looking for his enemies in these parts, and they weren't gentle about it. Since those days, the locals are suspicious of foreigners. No one in the Sweet Bones will talk to me. So luckily, we notice here that the Sweet Bones isn't as picky as the houses here are. It's enough to bring somebody who's of assistance, and that's that. So our good old friend here can do the trick. I don't come alone. Denzel doesn't say a word. He sits with his arms folded and waits until others come to pay their respects to him at our table. So with this guy, people will say finally hi to me. Good thing for us, I'd say. Eventually, the other patrons unbend enough to let me buy them a pint and let me listen to them complain about the weather. I'll find a warmer welcome here next time. So I also gained the memory of solace, and here we want to talk now to the next people. So the post office would be another thing. Here we can not, or we don't need the help of somebody, or do we? Yeah, we need an introduction here, obviously. Or no, actually not. It's just because the journal is still soaked. As you might have noticed already here, we can drop something readable or a journal here, and this thing is readable on the journal, but it's soaked. So the Sweet Bones has a place where we can dry our book, and that's what we're going to do. Luckily, they do that for free for us. So let's see if we can find new friends. Denzel's help can be gathered by investing something that has these aspects. Metal has these aspects, but our health also luckily has heart aspects. So we can ditch our health in here and get some more help from Denzel. These things recover daily, so everything that's fatigued today will be recovered tomorrow. And as you see here, we have a clock here, so not too much of a big deal. So let's see if our friend here is capable of doing anything for us anymore here right now. I don't think so, but maybe we can play around this problem a little bit. So as you see here, we require any one of these aspects. We have memories, so let's see. The revelation memory is a lantern type memory. That would be compatible with this house. So what we can do now here is we talk with our friend Denzel about this memory. And what will happen now is that this aspect of the memory will be transferred over to Denzel just for this one thing. It's not a permanent upgrade, it's a temporary upgrade. But it'll allow us to give him a new quality temporarily, which will then hopefully open the door to Mr. and Mrs. Kill for us. So we have talked about this memory to him. And now let's see if that opens the doors. Here we go. Mutual acquaintance has induced the Kills to invite me for a fish supper. If I'm lucky, fish supper may mean Mrs. Kills celebrate galettes. So here we have tricked ourselves into there by grafting this aspect on him to get the job done. This is something that you will do a lot, and it's really good to do that. So these memories also get used up by the end of the day, so they disappear into nothingness. So if ever you can help yourself with a memory, you should definitely do so, because it's totally worth it. So Mr. Kill pumps my hand. Just me and thee and the missus tonight. Ah, well, there's a client in the back, but if thee don't bother he won't bother thee. Did I already mention that this guy is selling caskets? So, well, the Kill's household is now available, and we have a good memory about saying hello to them for the first time. So now we could trick ourselves also into this place, probably. We need either something with a knock, lantern, or sky. So let's see. The Solace memory would fit. The problem here is right now, though, we don't have any juice left for ourselves, so we cannot ask Denzel for another time for help for now. So let's see what's happening here. The clock ticks in the snug. A distant wireless crackles musically. Carefully, page by page, I dry the book. Sounds like a pretty pesky deal to me. Okay, so we have now the book. Goatskin, antelope, some scott leather that catches at my memory. I should know. Alright, so we have that book now, so we might get ourselves to that post office. The postmistress regards me with the chilly gaze of a goddess image in an ancient hill shrine. The librarian, says she, yes, I have something for you. Wait here, please. So, with the dried book, we actually get some service here. Well, let's see what that might be. The postmistress returns with an envelope addressed to the librarian, Hush House, BRANCRUG Isle, postmarked in Wales a week ago. So, a letter to the librarian, a letter to me from St. Runwin's Trust. The Trust's connection with Hush House is probably benevolent, but persistently obscure. And we also gained a 10-shilling note. Half a pound, but not half a note. A recent innovation. So this thing is worth 120 pence. We got money now. So with money, we can do a lot of fun things. First of all, we're going to go to the post office, and we're going to split that 10-shilling note into smaller things, because that's what the post office does for you. There we go. So we got ourselves now smaller pieces of currency, because at the Sweet Bones, we can take our fatigued skills and pay 2 pence into this wonderful establishment, and with a hearty meal in a quiet place, we will recover that skill. Like I already said, you can also recover these just by letting the time pass by, but you know, you can also spend your money in recovering these skills if you are in a hurry. Right now I just want to get my last acquaintance done here at the village. There we go. So my metal has been restored, and I think I'm going to do the same for my health here. So while my health is recovering, we're going to get on over to Denzel's and ask him for help one more time. Because I got the fitting memories to say hello to Reverend Timothy as well. So we already know how this works. We're going to talk about solace to him, so he has the right attitude towards the sky, which will open the door for to the Reverend's place. So these aspects here, by the way, are through and through of an occult and arcane nature. That's just one thing that I wanted to note here already. So, there we go. We should be now capable of getting ourselves acquainted with the rector. Mutual acquaintance has induced Reverend Timothy the rector to invite me for tea. There might even be crumpets. So that sounds good, doesn't it? Reverend Timothy's tea goes cold while he expostulates about post-restoration politics and theorizes about the pagan traditions of the miners. The rectory is now available. So we have now gained access to all of the buildings here in the city. So we want to have a library, don't we? So let's see. The mist-cloaked bridge. Every so often, someone builds a bridge to the Isle. Each bridge lasts 100 years or 200, and the sea disposes of it. This was built in the 1890s, and that makes it the newest bridge, but that doesn't mean it's new. So here again, we need assistance for the repairs of this bridge. So this means assistance is essential, and we can help ourselves with forge, lantern, or sky aspects. So our friend Denzel sure has a forge aspect going on for himself. So we already got our health recovered. So let's ask our friend Denzel for a last thing for today before we say goodnight to him for today. There we go. So we're going to go on over here to the bridge, and since he has the right stats, we can just put him on over here and unlock this. This is also a general mechanic of the game to unlock new areas. There we go. Night has fallen. Dawn will come soon. There we go. At night, by the way, you are not able to get yourselves new friends or get assistance from friends. So, next step will be the lodge at the gate, a cottage where Hush House's groundskeeper lived until the fire. If I can get into the place and make it habitable, I can use it as a base for reclaiming more of the house. So, here, as you might have noticed, I've lost all my memories for today. We've slept and that washed them away. Oh, at least that's how I like to understand it. So, we're going to ask Timothy for his help one more time, because that is surely, not Timothy, Denzel, I'm sorry. Denzel for his help one more time. So, whenever a new day starts, you will also gain a new weather card. You can modify your assistant's help with these or use them in various ways. So, they're very, very versatile. Good. So, we are going to go for this one. The local blacksmith can defeat the door. The rector probably has a spare key, and the midwife knows how to jiggle the latch on the back door. As you see here, depending on which person you were starting with, the solutions are different. We're just going to bash down the front door because that's the way the powers of the forge do things. I like that. So we're going to unlock our way now here at the doorsteps of the Hush House Library. We are now. So, we have now access to the gatekeeper's house, and we can now open the great gate of the house. But not during this episode. We're going to see whether or not we can unlock the beach here already. So we will need somebody to guide us here. He needs 2 points of moon or 2 points of winter. So we could attach a point of moon affinity to somebody with the clouds, but since our friend Denzel has no business with either of these aspects, he's not the right person to ask. So let's see, Mr. and Mrs. Kill. Here, the problem is, to address Mrs. Kill, we would need something with a Grail aspect, and none of my 3 soul fragments has these, and Mr. Kill would respond to a wintery skill. So we have neither of these, so we cannot really do anything here. But what we can do is probably just read our book a little bit. It is dry now, so let's see. We just need to put in an element of the soul, it says. My journal. That battered leather cover is familiar, but the storm so scattered my thoughts. So we're going to read that journal as the last thing for this first episode. My journal. I'm sure of it. The storm scattered my thoughts, but each page I turn is familiar. I begin to recall why I came here, to understand my curse and redeem myself. more about your origin and your aspirations in your journal. So we have now unlocked our memories, and these are unique for every playthrough, by the way. So that's a really, really fun thing. And I really don't know what I have done. We are after Edge Mysteries, though, in this playthrough. Good. So, let's see. We have now our journal, and we could now work with this one too. It has now Edge Mysteries, so we could now work with that and uncover the mysteries of that book, or uncover the mysteries of the house. Many, many things await us, but not for this episode. I thank you for watching so much if you are around still. Next episode, we're going to get ourselves acquainted with Hush House, where the majority of the game is playing. What we journeyed through here in this episode was basically the content of the demo, which has been released way before the game itself. Here, we're going to get into the actual library for the first time in the next episode, and I can't wait to get there. Let me know what you guys thought. I love to have some feedback, and like I said, a thumbs up and a subscription would be really, really a lovely way of showing some support, and I really hope you have a great day. Last but not least, I'm putting a playlist link into the description box for the entire playthrough. So if you just want to binge watch this little adventure here, that's where you need to go. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for your time and attention, and see you soon.